Did you know? A survey by Booking.com showed that 70% of travelers feel nervous when they get lost abroad. That's huge.
And yet, the English phrases you need to ask for directions are very short and easy. With just a few sentences, you can turn a scary moment into an adventure.
I remember being in Paris. My phone battery died. No maps. I just asked someone in English, "Excuse me, where is the metro station?" Guess what? They understood me instantly, and I found my way.
That's a perfect example, Emma, but what if the person you ask doesn't speak English? It's a real possibility, right?
Absolutely. That's why it helps to learn a few basic phrases in the local language or even carry a translation app. It bridges the gap.
Research shows that 68% of communication is nonverbal, so gestures and smiles can take you a long way, even if words fail.
Right. And speaking of the future, technology like real-time translation devices is becoming more accessible. It'll be exciting to see how that changes travel.
Exactly. But until then, knowing how to ask for directions in English is a skill every traveler should have in their toolkit.
Yeah, and remember, every time you ask for directions, it's not just about finding a location, it's an opportunity to interact and learn about the culture.
That's the spirit. Now, let's move on to how to start these conversations politely.
When asking for directions, always begin politely. Try, "Excuse me, can you help me?" or "Excuse me, do you know where the bus station is?"
Adding "excuse me" makes a big difference. It shows respect. People are more willing to help when you're polite.
But what if you're in a rush? Is there a way to be brief yet polite?
Good question. You can still keep it short. "Excuse me, where is the nearest cafe?" is polite and efficient.
A study by the University of Michigan found that politeness increases cooperation by 22%. So, it's worth the extra word or two.
That's interesting. However, some might argue that in busy cities, people won't always have time to stop.
True, but if you're polite, they're more likely to help even briefly, like pointing in the right direction.
Exactly. And in the future, as cities become more interconnected, knowing how to phrase your questions will remain crucial.
That's right. So, next, let's talk about the most common questions travelers need to know.
Great idea. Let's dive into those essential questions.
Here are a few powerful questions. Where is the train station? How do I get to the airport? Is it far from here? Which way is the museum?
Simple, right? You don't need long sentences. Just mix "where is" with the place you need.
But what if you encounter someone who doesn't understand your accent? Any tips for that?
Yes, slow down your speech and maybe try rephrasing. Sometimes, "where can I find?" works better.
A 2019 survey found that 80% of misunderstandings in English are due to speaking speed and pronunciation.
That's a significant number. However, once you slow down and pronounce words clearly, most misunderstandings clear up.
Absolutely. And looking ahead, as more people learn English globally, accents will become more diverse, making clear communication even more essential.
Exactly, David. So, now let's help our listeners with understanding the directions they receive.
Perfect transition. Understanding answers is just as important as asking questions.
Right. Let's explore how to make sense of those answers.
Now, this is the tricky part, understanding the answer. People might point and say, "Go straight, turn left, turn right, it's near the bank."
Sometimes they'll use gestures. Don't panic. Even if you only catch left or straight, you'll get closer.
But what if you're completely confused by the response?
In that case, ask them to repeat slowly or say, "Can you show me on a map?"
That's a good tactic. A study showed that visual aids increase comprehension by 65%.
Indeed. However, there might not always be a map handy, especially in rural areas.
True, but even using your phone to show a map can help bridge the communication gap.
And in the future, real-time augmented reality maps might make this process even smoother.
Absolutely. But until then, these strategies will help you understand directions more clearly.
Exactly. Now, let's hear a story that illustrates these points beautifully.
Quick story. In Tokyo, I asked for directions to a temple. The man didn't speak much English, but he drew a map on a piece of paper. It was the kindest thing. That's the magic of travel. People want to help.
That's so true. Experts say using body language and smiles increases your chance of getting help when words are limited. A smile is universal.
But what if you're too shy to ask in the first place?
Start small. Practice asking for directions at home, even in your own language, to build confidence.
A 2020 study highlighted that practicing social skills in low-stakes environments boosts confidence by 30%.
That's a great statistic. Of course, some might say practice doesn't replicate real-world pressure.
While that's true, it still prepares you better than not practicing at all.
And as technology evolves, virtual reality could offer realistic practice scenarios without the pressure.
Exactly. But until then, real-life practice and stories like these can motivate you to step out and ask.
Definitely. Now, let's put everything together with a role play.
Let's practice. I'll be the traveler.
Okay, I'll be the local.
Excuse me, can you help me? Where is the train station?
Sure. Go straight, then turn right at the traffic light. It's next to the bank.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a nice day.
See? Simple, polite, effective.
And what if you didn't understand the directions?
I'd ask again. Maybe say, "Can you please repeat that slowly?"
Perfect strategy. All right, that's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.